I would like to call the meeting to order. This is a regular Harper Woods School Board meeting, March 17th, 2015. It is now 7:04 p.m. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have, let the record reflect that we have all 7 members present here. Item 4.0 is acceptance of the meeting agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Support.
Thank you. Item 5.0 is the approval of the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to have anything removed from the consent agenda? Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Is that? Thank you. Item 6.0 is correspondence. All 7? Oh, got it. Yep. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Consent agenda is approved.
Hello? We still having technical difficulty.
No.
No, that's,
That's our live broadcast. So Mr. Rabideau is assisting. We're fine. Continue.
Okay, just, somebody's piping in. Item 6.0 is correspondence. Has Ms. Mahone?
The board has not received any correspondence.
Thank you, Ms. Mahone. On to item 7.0, which is district activities. I believe we're going to cover a technology spotlight today.
Mr. Rabideau, please.
Different.
All right, go big or go home. We are demonstrating some technology, and we'll talk about the tech event Friday night after we get through this somewhat hair-raising moment here. So if you want, we're going to have up on the screen demonstrating multiple capabilities, a live broadcast that we utilized Friday a couple of times. So what's taking place here is we're broadcasting live out onto a YouTube channel. There's a 30-second delay. So right now, our talent is up in the multimedia lab getting ready to perform this broadcast. So as soon as I see the link is up there, I will tell them to go ahead and get started, which gives us 30 seconds before we'll see what they're doing. And then there's a really big finish at the end if everything goes according to plan. So
Mr. Rabideau, this is actually happening upstairs.
yes, it's happening upstairs, and anyone who would have this link, and right now we're the only ones that have this link on YouTube, but anyone who had it would be watching it wherever they have access to the internet. And so that's what we did Friday night. We put out the broadcast on YouTube. We advertised that link. We sent it to people. We had viewers as far as Sanibel Island in Florida watching. My parents were watching. And while I further talk for time here, Mr. Hopkins has now taken this technology, and as you know, we're presenting at McCall on Thursday. We have students and teachers presenting. So his students are going to be live broadcasting back to the district from McCall. And so the link is going to be sent out to all the staff and families and everything so that they can watch the live coverage of what the students are doing down in McCall.
Are you texting your contact to go ahead?
I am. And my wife. And yeah, so I just told them to go ahead and start. This is pretty cool. We just figured this out since Friday, that instead of having that blank shot of the screen right now, we can put up these fancy graphics. So you're going to see a lot of pretty interesting technology that we figured out in the last 3 or 4 days.
Do you know what day you're going to be broadcasting on the call?
Yeah, Thursday, and I think it's around 11 o'clock. Once Mr. Hopkins sends out the link, I'll forward it on to everyone too with the details.
These are all of our students, Mr. Rabideau?
Yes.
So we did a district-wide live broadcast Friday afternoon, I believe.
We did. Miss Collie Gaddy was our anchor woman. She did a tremendous job just talking about the event that evening.
Which she's the same gal that was,
Hi, my name is Kevin Morrison. We are here to present two tech activities on computer coding at Beacon, public service announcement project at middle school. Let's go over to the Beacon students as they demonstrate coding.
Now they are switching over to another camera, which is new.
Hi, I'm Nathan Conrad, a fifth grade town and SWAT team student, and here I am with Xavier and Sean here to show us coding. In the computer class, we learned how to code. This is an introduction to computer science. Coding is a command that is written to make something happen on the computer. On the left of the screen is the challenge. On the right side of the screen is the workspace. I need to use the blocks to build a code to tell the Angry Bird each action to take. In this example, I want the bird to go to the right 2 times. I have to use 3 blocks to do that. When I press play, the bird goes to the right 2 times. Or no. I have written 3 lines of code, see? That was a Beacon Elementary student showing us coding.
I participated in Myers Great Choices Film Fest contest. Our mission was to create a 30-second PSA focused on helping a peer. We first made a pamphlet using iPads to brainstorm our ideas. Secondly, we made a storyboard to outline each scene in the PSA. Lastly, we recorded the video in the hallways using our new Sony HD video cameras to edit movies using iMovie on the IMAX in the new media lab. Let's play the public service announcement. We hope you enjoy our 2 presentations. We will join you in the community room in just a second.
So now they're on their way down here.
Come on, gentlemen. Just a tremendous amount of learning from adults and students. Most of the learning was taught to the adults by the students over these last number of weeks. So, congratulations to everyone. That was beautiful. We tested that right here. What a time to try things out. Why don't you all introduce yourselves and tell us what grade you're in and what you presented up there.
Hi, I'm Sean Morrison. I'm in 3rd grade, and I had to tell you what we're gonna do by coding.
Hi, I'm Nathan Conrad, and I am in 5th grade, and I just interviewed the 2 people that are doing the coding.
I'm Kellen Morrison, and I was the one who created the PSA for the Myers Choice contest.
I am Xavier Bell, and I'm demonstrating coding.
Good job, buddy.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
And Kellen was informed he was going to be our anchor man. Fourth hour today. So, great job there.
Mr. Rabideau, if I may, Kellen, when you were speaking, you weren't really just speaking. What were you really doing?
I was reading off this camera that was in front of me, and it was playing these words, so I was just copying what it said.
Okay, do you know the formal name of that piece of technology or that equipment that you were using?
A teleprompter.
Okay, so when you watch, Channel 4 or Channel 7 News, tomorrow morning, do you think that they're using teleprompters?
Yes.
Absolutely they are. And so, behind the scenes, someone is typing the story, and then the on-air personalities are, seeing that information and talking about it and so on and so forth. So, what'd you think of that experience?
Good.
Glad it was
Very
over.
nice. Very nice.
Everyone did a great job.
Good job, you guys.
Good job.
Indeed.
And so, Mr. Hopkins and Mr. Williams are instructional technology specialists. The tech committee, especially Mr. Hopkins and Mr. Williams, put in a lot of effort for Friday night's event, which I believe was a tremendous success. We had a lot of technology, and it really was just a sampling of what we have going on in this district. Next year's show will be even bigger and more encompassing of everything that we're able to do. And you see the difference if you saw the broadcast on Friday to the upgrade at this point. We've added a second camera, we've added graphics, we're making updates, learning how this equipment works. As remember, we took possession of essentially $150,000 worth of equipment in July or August, and these two have been leading the charge to figure out what we bought and how to use it. A lot of work, and we haven't even scratched the surface of what we're able to do. And the students, like I said, they're right there teaching us. We couldn't figure out some lighting systems, so they told a couple of high school students to look at it, and 20 minutes later, it came back and said, oh, you do this, 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 and they're programming. So, we're on the move in tech, and it's a lot of exciting things. I look forward to bringing more updates.
Okay, Mr. Rabideau, I saw another little guy that was back there. Was he one of the ones helping, or
That was
perhaps?
Mr. Williams' son who came along. He was support. He was
Yes, he
getting a
was
little
helping.
nervous because I like to call him the talent. The on-air talent was a little late getting up to the media lab, and he thought he was going to have to go on. But, yeah, so he was nervous there.
How neat. That's cool, Mr. Williams.
All right, any questions?
I just had one question. Are they only available live, or can you go back and rewatch the broadcast?
So it's recorded now and stored. I think these are being stored on Mr. Williams' account. We have an H. Woods Tech account that we've created. So yeah, you'd be able to go back to YouTube and watch them. And currently, Friday night's event is on the HW Schools website. You can click on the link. It's unedited footage right now. It's a 2-hour event with probably 30 minutes of actual action on it with interviews and that. So we're going to edit it down and then put the final product up there. So yeah, all these are kept.
Do you know that the rep from Community College that was here commented that they had to go back and order some new equipment because our school's equipment is better than Community College?
Love it.
So they're upgrading immediately.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. We really had a great turnout. We had our Apple partner come out, the Grand Circus coding person that we worked with last summer with high school, he came out. The library came out. We made some great connections. Already got projects in works for the library. We got a lot of things going on there. I'll be following up with Wayne County because they wanted to come out and take a tour of the facility so I could show them everything. So I can follow up with them.
That's great.
So, Mr. Rabideau, our tech lab has only been up for a short period of time now. It's been about, how long?
A couple months. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. All right. And
It was
thank
a
you
very
all to
nice
those
event
that attended.
Friday. Thank you.
Very
Thank you for your
nice.
time and effort. What a
Indeed.
great showcase
Thank
for
you.
the community.
Yeah. And I talked to Mr. Corbett, and he said there were probably about 325 people there. Very good turnout.
Great turnout.
And I know for a fact that there were parents from the district visiting whose children are not in our schools. So it was a great spotlight. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Item 7.2 is Beacon Elementary, please.
Good evening.
Hey, JJ.
Hello.
We're outside for recess. Hallelujah. Okay, I got that off my chest. March is Reading Month, so it's been a plethora of activities at Beacon. We've been trading terrific teachers, which means we have classrooms teachers visiting other classrooms and reading, which is always exciting for the kids. We're drop everything and read, so when the music starts, we pick up a book and read. We have Character Day coming up. No, it's not Halloween, it's Character Day, I keep telling the children, which means they're going to bring a prop in their favorite book. And we've had just a numerous guest readers. So anyone from the front office who would still like to read, we have a few weeks left. So if you find it upon yourself and you'd like to read, I have lots of books that you can share, or any of the board members who would like to come read. The invitation is open. Kindergarten Roundup this year, I told you this year we did March In for the whole month of March. We've given out 22 packets, which are about, at this time last year, we only had about 12 out there. So we've got a banner up, it's on our website. April of the C&G has already put it into the C&G last month. Brannick and Brannick will be doing also a push, an advertisement for it as well. So, you know, the word is out there. With the event like Friday night, we've been telling our families that there is SOC, but we can't give out there's no packets going out until in the May date. So very, very confident that we will have our numbers, and things are going very well. We have an early childhood expo on April 24th and May 3rd, April 24th from 8 to 3, and then May 20th, or May 5th from 3:30 to 7:30. So parents are calling, if you have a 3 to 5-year-old, you call the Beacon office and make an appointment. And then the child is kind of screened and assessed in many areas, and to see if they qualify for either our GSRP preschool program or our ECDD, which is our early childhood developmentally delayed. So please come in and get your appointments. Interesting today, we held a mock MyStep test. This is a 3-part, there's a classroom activity, there's a performance task, and there's a second part, which is that online component. So we actually took a classroom and did each piece. It was about a 2.5-hour rollout format. It was grueling. One of the things we're learning, we're going to be doing this tomorrow and then next Tuesday and Wednesday, so all 4 third grades will have this like practice test, if you will, sitting in front of this computer, looking at how the text can scroll and the questions can scroll. We learned a lot today, so tomorrow we do it again. I think we'll learn a lot. Next week we do it again, and we do it again. The whole staff is in on this, from preschool to 3rd grade, trying to come up with ways that we can help our students, but it's very clear, parents, that stamina is the answer. So please put your children in front of books and math, even best to do it online, and to set a timer for 30 or 40 minutes and let them feel how long that is to stay engaged, because it is a really long time. We're going to be able to break it up. The MDE continues every day, even today. New guidelines, new rules. So it's coming out every day. They really haven't landed on this, but we're staying on it, and we're going to make the changes as these guidelines come out. Because it's very clear they're not sure exactly what the rules are going to be quite yet. So stay tuned, and we're on it. Conferences are the 16th and 17th. We're going to try something a little new this year. We're going to try to do a priority conference. So we're going to ask our parents of our students who teachers feel they really need to see. We're going to have that sign up. And if you're a parent whose student is strong and they're doing well, we're going to kind of give you a data on the wall letter. If you still want to come in, absolutely. Our door is open at any time. But hopefully this will give teachers more time with those priority students, because you got that 15 minutes and it's just not enough time. So we're going to see how that works. Many districts do it, Fraser, Northville. So we have some teachers from districts at spring conferences always like that format. So we're going to try it, see how it works. The library is having a really exciting family reading program. We've had over 35 families sign up, and so I'm encouraging everyone. It starts on May 28th. I think that's the day, and it goes through April. It's free. There's going to be food. And again, when you talk about getting these kids ready for these M steps, it's all about putting them in front of text and giving them an idea of how long they've been sitting in front of this text. They don't understand. They deal in nanoseconds. So anything we can do to make them understand stamina, grit, that is going to be our next vocabulary word of the week, because we have been doing vocabulary words of the week: evidence, observe, opinion, and it's been really great, because I have 5-year-olds telling me it was their opinion we should go outside today. But I said, I need the evidence. Go ask Miss Dee what the temperature is, then we'll talk. So, and the last but not least, thank you for Officer Stewart. My life. I may not retire early. He is a no-nonsense, kind, professional. I can't even explain, my 7th year as principal, the difference. And I've had parents say, why is it taking so long? I mean, he has got us running just smoothly. I just can't even tell you. He's just amazing. He's there before I am, and I get to work pretty early. He's there till, comes in the morning and at the pick up and drop off. And it's just been amazing, just the whole atmosphere. Ms. Morrison is there every day, pretty much, and she sees that, you can speak to it. It's improved our culture, and certainly improved the principal, because if you read in the paper, I have the most pleasurable job. I'm the happiest career. Did you know that? That the elementary, or I think it's principals, Miss P, did you know you have the happiest job? But Officer Stewart has just put some data that could be true, that I do have a very happy job.
Can you explain what he's doing for you?
Basically, he's from 7 to 8. I'm not sure exactly. I think he leaves about 8:15 or 8:30. He puts out our cones. He stands out into the parking lot and guides our cars to go all the way down to the cone for drop-off, and make sure children are exiting the right side of the car. Any cars that need to escort children in, he's telling them that you need to park. At pickup time, parents who used to come in and kind of just stand there, because they get there at like 2:15, because they need that first spot. There is no first spot. You're not in the drop-off zone. So if you come at 2:15, you're going to park in one of the spaces and wait for your student. He's just so professional that parents are just responding in that way.
Glad to hear it.
Whoever this company is, they have been, in my building, stellar, and Ms. P has also stated that it is just a different atmosphere. So it's just been wonderful.
Good,
So
glad to hear it.
thank you. Any questions?
Yes, earlier you mentioned on the Child Expo that about evaluating the 3 to 5-year-olds, and that you said there's 2 types of kindergarten programs we have.
Yes. We have our general education GSRP, which is the Great Start Readiness Program. That's for any student. It is financially based for eligibility. Our ECDD is our special ed preschool. Basically, it's more language development. Almost all of our children are language. Some are on the autism spectrum, some of our students. But pretty much it's a language-based where we give early intervention in language processing, auditory issues. And the children come in and they're assessed in cognitive, motor, adaptive, which is social skills. Those are pretty much the three big areas. So for ECDD, the special ed vein is for students who qualify educationally, where the other one is you qualify financially. And they're both for 3- and 4-year-olds.
Ms. G,
Yes.
you referred to, you practiced today for the My Step?
Yes.
Is that the new name for the meet?
Yes.
And that is all electronic?
Yes.
From kindergarten through 3rd grade?
Just 3rd. Right now, the My Step is 3rd through 9, 8. Should know that.
Okay. Just
Okay.
asking.
Yeah.
It's 3 through 8, and then 11.
For the MME or whatever they're calling it.
And it is one step, not my step, which would be misstep.
I think that was a little Freudian slip.
There you go. Any other questions from the board? No. Thank you, Ms. G. District activities, Tyrone.
Good evening. First, I'd like to apologize. I woke up this morning and it was read a t-shirt day, and it was dress down day, and it was St. Patrick's Day, so I combined them all together and I forgot it was board night day. So, sorry for the appearance. I was going to go home and thought, I'll just explain it away. So, anyhow, to just start out to recap what Mrs. Gosleben said, thank you for the security. It's amazing the difference that has made. And I have a funny story because the very first day that they were there, I got 3 phone calls in the office asking questions. One person said, I have to just run in and use the bathroom. Can I park in the Circle Drive and leave my car in the Circle Drive so I can run in and use the bathroom? And then there were 2 more regarding Circle Drive and parking, and I looked at Ms. Eskandarian and I'm like, why are we getting these phone calls? These are weird. And then we both kind of looked at each other and chuckled, and it's like, because there's a police-looking person standing outside, and now all of a sudden we're getting phone calls. They have been phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. Just in the fact that they're keeping the traffic flowing, helping remind parents where they need to stand, not letting children just run out or dart across the streets, reminding them to cross at the crossing guard. It's been great. So thank you very much. That was a great investment. We had our 3rd grade parent orientation night last week. Probably, I would say there were 24 parents that showed with their students. It was a great night, a lot of questions, a lot of kids. The 4th grade staff was there and took the students on a tour. And I can't remember which classroom won. Was it Mrs. Hughes? Yeah. Mrs. Hughes' class had the most attendance from her class, so they received gym time, extra gym time. So there was a lot of buzz about, make sure you sign in, and Mrs. Goslaven's going to look at that. So thank you to the parents who came. We will be having another 3rd grade orientation where the students come over in a field trip form. So all the students can then see the school and be a little more at ease of coming over in the fall for any child that couldn't make it. I do let my parents know if there's any time you want to come and tour the school or see the school or come during the day to get a feel for what Tyrone's all about, our doors are always open. We had, piggyback on parents, we had our science night at Tyrone. That was another really, really fun night, and I met a ton of 3rd grade parents who said, I couldn't be there, so I told them to more than welcome to come back. I answered questions that night. Thank you to Mr. Dennis who pitched in and ran an activity. Mr. Beadle showed up. It really was just a fun night. I'll get those pictures posted to the web. Another thing that we've got doing, and I want to thank personally Ms. Fidawa, I realize that she's working on some of her hours for grad class, but she is working with all of our parents of students who are struggling right now. We sent home letters, and she has been tenacious in getting parents to come in. And we have had a little more than 3/4 of the parents who we've targeted come in, sit with her. She sometimes meets before school or after school or on her prep. She shows them My Star. She makes sure they have all kinds of ways to make sure they keep track of what their child's doing. She gives them websites that can help them learn. She gives them study island information. I mean, it's really been a great tool. Every parent that has met with her has left feeling like they got a better grasp on how to help their child be more successful. So I want to do a special thank you to her. As Mrs. Gosligan said, March is Reading Month. We kicked it off with a magic show. That was really amazing. The kids were just really excited. And, you know, I can't get them to turn back much, but he managed to get, I can't tell you how many kids to turn in and purchase some of his stuff that he had.
220.
Yeah, it was like they were just coming in the next day, little magic thumbs and little magic wands and little magic books. So it was a lot of fun. The kids really had a great time watching him, and he was very personable, and they did a great job. We also were able on that day, our first day of March, every child, we were able to go and look at a whole bunch of books we've been collecting and purchasing, and they were able to pick one free book for March's Reading Month. We've done Drop Everything and Read. Through our SWAT team at Tyrone, we've been videotaping teachers and sending out links of teachers reading different materials, so that's kind of our push to get the tech part in it. As I said, today's Read T-shirt day, and we had Poetry Day. We're doing a whole bunch of things during the month of March to encourage kids to read. And then we always end with, you know, how we can extend this for the remainder of the year. Last Friday, I did a school-wide intervention. We got together with our PBIS team, and we noticed that our data for the month of February, our bullying detentions were not where we needed them to be. They had grown more than any category of detentions and data that we look at for school-wide infractions. So I did a intervention on Friday, and just basically reviewing, you know, bullying behavior, talking about taking back the power, not to just be a bystander who sits by and doesn't intervene, but different ways you can help each other out, building each other up. We talked about personal pedestals and using words that help, not hurt, and we're making posters that says, you know, what have you done with your words today? Have they helped another person? And it was pretty well received. A little more emotional than I thought was going to happen, but that was okay, because to me it meant they were listening. The last video clip that I showed was of a former wrestler, and the best line he used, and we're using it with students all the time, but he said, "Show me your friends and I will show you your future." And then he goes on to explain, I know this because I hung around with losers and I became one. And he goes on, and it's all about the love he had for his mom. And he becomes very emotional in the video clip. And so many of the students, you know, that brought a lot of emotions up for a lot of students and a lot of staff members, but it really was moving. But I think the best thing that came out of this is I had 2 fifth-grade girls come to me and say, we think we need to do something as a school. We think we should do a 30-day challenge to our kids. No bullying for 30 days. Let's do a challenge. So I took that and we went back to the staff and we tweaked it. And I invited April in. She's already come and interviewed the 2 girls. One of them, they got it from a book they were reading. A girl was gossiping, and she gave herself a challenge to not gossip for 30 days. And I just think it was amazing. And so we are on our 30-day challenge. We're doing it per grade level. Every day we're reminding students. We've tweaked it a little bit, but it was just a great message. And, you know, there's a lot of kids putting notes in the safe box or telling, and I've been telling the kids, students are done. They're taking back their power, and they are taking back the school. It's only a handful that are truly using bullying behavior, but we're no longer being these quiet bystanders that turn the other way. And so it's made more for me to do all day long, but it's a good thing. And so if you hear that, or the kids talk about their 30-day challenge, May 1st will be the end of the 30-day, and we'll see how all of them do. And we've got a grade level reward for grade levels that make their 30 days. But it really was good. So we're going to keep on that track. Any questions?
questions from the board?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. P.
Thank you, Principal P.
Mr. Filbert, middle school highlights, activities.
Good evening, everyone. Be remiss, it was brought up in tech, but I'd be remiss not to bring it up that, the video that Kellen had shown and had created was done in Mr. Murphy's class, which again is in the middle school, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. And then also, of course, one of our speakers that will be at McCall is also coming from the middle school, Ms. Therese Wesley. So again, want to sort of give the kudos to the teachers and the students for their hard work in tech in that respect. And of course, to get to see Kellen be an anchor is always a good thing to see there too. Our middle school band has had a pretty eventful couple of weeks. Middle School Band Festival was held at Roseville Middle School a couple of weeks ago. And for the 5th year in a row, the middle school band received a Division I rating, which is definitely an accomplishment, and definitely want to give kudos to the kids for that. The students were judged on 3 prepared pieces as well as a sight reading piece, which is basically they put a piece of music in front of them and say, okay, now play it. And the students were able to do that and go ahead and earn that Division I rating. That means now that they're eligible to go on to the state festival, which will be held on April 30th up at Port Huron Northern High School. So they'll get to go and perform there. And I believe from Ms. Casey, she said about 10% of middle school bands get chosen to go ahead and do, to get that Division I rating and go on into the state tournament. So it is, definitely of high kudos and congratulations that I want to give to the kids. In fact, I made sure that I stopped by the day after during band class and told them what a great job it was, and that if they didn't get a Division I at state, that the bus was going to leave them open. So we went for that. Another, and this is more of an individual thing for the band, but 8th grade student Caitlin Lance was accepted into the Detroit Symphony Orchestra Middle School Honors Band. Wow. She was one of about 150 students chosen, and she rehearsed all day yesterday with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra select members, and they went ahead and performed yesterday afternoon around 4 p.m. They did 3 pieces, Shaker's Variant, Shenandoah, and Lexington March, which of course is all part of my playlist that I have in my car. The students played alongside select members of the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, and I got to talk with Caitlin a little bit today as I was trying to sort of get a feeling for the event, and she talked about what a great experience it was to be up on stage with those talented musicians and to be able to learn and play with them. And again, I want to give credit to Ms. Casey. This was one of those things where she had gone ahead and filled out some nomination papers and things like that and made that possible for our student. And definitely something that is memorable. And so at the end of our conversation today, I asked her if she could see herself being that kind of orchestra player that we all saw coming and performing in our auditorium not too long ago. And she said that would be, the dream. That would be an ideal goal for her to go ahead and go after. So congratulations, Caitlin. It's a great honor and definitely something to remember. Ongoing in the middle school is a little competition. We have our pennies for pasta, pennies for patience. We try to remind the kids it's for patience, not just for pasta, but the reward for the class. It's all the third hour classes are challenging each other. The class that raises the most money is a catered lunch from Olive Garden, so they like to call it pennies for pasta. But it's really for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. All the money goes to go ahead and help out that great cause. And so this will go on throughout the month, and there's a couple of classes that are in some pretty heated competition because the coins count for and the bills count against, and so there's a little sabotaging going on between the classes and everything else like that. It's kind of funny to watch kids trying to protect their milk jug full of change so dollar bills can't go in it. It's always kind of interesting to see the defensive goalie skills that they try to put on. It's definitely good. And then the last thing that I have is a group of 40 7th grade students were chosen by the 7th grade teaching team. They were kind of challenged back in the beginning of February to raise up their grades, raise up their attendance, do something to go ahead and show some positive strides, and then they would be eligible to go ahead and go on a field trip. This field trip was held last Thursday. They went to the Holocaust Museum, which sort of tied into some of the study of Europe that they've been doing in social studies and everything else like that. And again, getting a chance to talk to the kids afterwards and after they get to experience such a powerful place with such a powerful message again, you get to see sort of how those hands-on learning experiences really impact our students and help them out. And it was also good to see, you know, those students go ahead and step up to the challenge and rise up and challenge themselves to go ahead and do a little bit better, either academically or attendance-wise as well. So I want to give credit to the 7th grade team for organizing and setting it up, and I heard that the kids were spectacular on their visit too, so I want to give credit to them as well for representing Harper Woods well while out on the field trip as well.
Absolutely.
So that's what I have for you guys today. Any questions?
Is Caitlin is the?
Caitlin.
Yeah.
Caitlin Lance.
And does she know how many students have left here and gone on to play in college bands?
I know that Miss Casey has the pictures of
Okay.
them. I always point out the Spartan marching band members.
Yeah.
No offense to Ben Schramm, who was, I think, you know, Ben was one of the state ones, but I think it was
Yeah, Ben was at state.
Ben was at state. I'm trying to think. Alex Wells is the U of M one, so I always sort of pass over. No offense to Alex, but we go, you know, sometimes allegiances run deep. But yeah, I know Miss Casey celebrates that as well, so definitely something for the kids to shoot for.
Good. Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Mr. Philbin.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Ms. Collier?
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we are certainly on the move at the high school. We have quite a few events coming up with the seniors completing their senior projects. My calendar is swiftly filling with meetings and then activities. It's been nonstop for the last 2 weeks. One of the first events that we have coming up, we have a group of students who are going to do a 2-ball tournament on March 26th. And the time for that will be from 4:30 to 6:30. The proceeds from the 2-ball tournament, they are going to purchase materials, gardening materials, flowers, soil, so on and so forth. Because on Earth Day, they are going to go to Flicks Elementary and build a cultural garden with those students. So they have it all planned out. The flowers that they want to pick are going to be from A to Z. They're going to put the alphabet in different languages all around the garden. They asked if I would be joining. Ms. Claudia doesn't do bugs, so they showed me take some pictures. My limit. So they're really excited about that. And I also have former colleagues that work there, so they're going to kind of be on the lookout and are planning to come down and help them. So that's one of our senior projects. In honor of Literacy Month, we have another group that is going to do movie night on the 31st from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The entry fee for movie night, they are requesting high school level and interest books. They're concerned that for a lot of the peers who maybe go to the library, go in the media center, and want to read, there aren't enough books that they would be interested in. And so they want to kind of go through the shelving in the media center and replace some of those books with books that are of their interest. So they're requesting that individuals who come to movie night have high school interest books. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that is something that Ms. Long has been working with a group of the students to do. We are planning a pep rally for the 26th as well, and this will be double duty due to conflicting schedules and forfeits. The senior girls did not get their proper due. They didn't get their honors from their basketball game because the game was canceled. And so we're going to honor the senior girls during the pep rally and then honor the upcoming spring sports teams and, you know, just kind of do a hoorah going into soccer and track and field. And they, speaking of going outside, they have been racing to the track. Where are you going? We gotta go out. We gotta go to the track, Ms. Carter. We're headed to the track. So they're excited about the new upcoming season. I want to give kudos to our staff and our 11th grade students. We successfully completed ACT and work keys. We have 5 students that will take the makeup of work keys tomorrow. And at that point, I do believe we will have all of our students tested for ACT and Work Keys. They put a lot of work in. They were very intense in their studies as well as during the testing, so kudos to the students and staff. On the 19th, we are going to have, and this is of March, I'm sorry, a student staff game, basketball game at 4:30. Ms. Stiver is hosting that as a fundraiser for the senior class. Ms. Thrasher is doing a National Honor Society induction on April 14th. No, April 30th. And that is going to be at 6 p.m. On the 14th of April, we have parent-teacher conferences, and that is going to be a half day for students. Conferences begin at 11:30. The announcement that I know everyone is waiting for, spring break is April 3rd. We have no school starting April 3rd, and then students return on the 13th. So then they go to parent-teacher conference on the half day, the following day. This coming Friday, Jay Hill had to reschedule his leadership panel discussion with the students because we had a snow day. So he has a panel of professionals and individuals who are going to come and speak to both the middle school and the high school students about making appropriate choices, being leaders, not followers, and how some of those decisions not only impact their current school community, but can impact them long term. So he's really excited about that. I spoke to one of the panelists as well. So they're all super stoked about coming to speak to our students. On the 19th, we are also doing, Mr. Rosser and I will have our academic awareness, our second academic awareness conversation with students and parents of our students that are not meeting their academic standards. So they've had the initial conversation, we've had one-on-one meetings, we've sent them to Benchmark Cafe for tutoring, we've referred them to C2 Pipeline. Progress reports have come out, we followed up after progress reports. And so now this will be our final ditch effort, if you will, before final report cards come out to see where the students are and kind of get a better gauge, have that one last conversation with parents before we go into potential summer school planning so that they'll be better prepared if their child needs to pay for summer school courses. And then in prep and in honor of Mr. Rabideau's technology fair, Mr. Looney's 4th hour honors class did an hour of code. So we had a vendor come in, and the game or the coding that you saw on the live broadcast, a group of our high school students actually did it, and originally they thought that it would be easy. And then you see hands raising all through the class like, Miss Flood, I can't get it to go. So it was really interesting for them to know that every little detail matters when you're coding. If you don't tell it to do what you want it to do, it doesn't happen. And so she also went into explaining how it is a national challenge. She actually showed a video clip of President Obama starting to do the hour of code. So children all over are completing the hour of code, and so our Harper Wood students also got to engage in that same activity. So that's our high school update. Question?
Yes, I have a question. In April, the 11th graders will be taking the M-STEP. So how is the high school preparing our 11th graders for
So
that?
the high school is preparing. We actually will watch the M-STEP accommodations video as a staff tomorrow and begin that conversation of what we need to do, what accommodations they will provide to the general education students, as well as what accommodations they will provide to the special education students. And once we kind of start to have that conversation, we will revisit it again next Wednesday at our staff meeting to make sure that everything is aligned. But as it stands right now, we have our district calendar planned out. We know which days we're taking which section of the test. So.
Okay, so have the staff had a chance to, or any of the staff had a chance to actually look at the tests and go through the practice?
So we've sent as much information has been released from the state during the spotlight. So they have had the opportunity to view the video. They've had the opportunity to review the materials. And so we'll start with our more intricate conversations tomorrow.
Okay.
Do you know what movie you guys are going to show at movie night?
I do not know what movie they are going to show at movie night. We did have the rated PG conversation, however, because we knew that they are going to advertise to the elementary school. So we did have the rated PG conversation. It will be a PG rated movie.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Ms. Collier. Thank you.
Ms. Collier, you may want to stay close for our next agenda item.
Next agenda item, just when you thought it was getting boring, it is district recognition, one of my favorites.
Thank you, Madam President. And so our student spotlight tonight focuses on two of our male students in this particular instance. Both, I want to say, 10th or 11th graders. Both 10th graders in the high school, L.T. McKellar and Deshaun Wafer. And so these two young men, because of not only their academic excellence, but also their character, their work ethic, their commitment, their responsibility, have realized in my opinion, an exemplary opportunity. Harper Woods High School is going to have a presence on an Ivy League campus this summer. These two young men are going to be spending some time at Brown University, and Principal Collier, as well as LT and Deshaun themselves, will tell us a little bit more about what that opportunity is and how it is that they've earned that chance. So when you need to introduce yourself.
I'm L.T. McKellar.
Okay, and would you introduce your family that's here with you?
My father, Julius Neighbors.
Okay, excellent. LT, we're glad that you're here. So tell us a little bit about this opportunity at Brown.
I was invited to Brown University, which is located in Rhode Island. It's an Ivy League school out of 8, which is Columbia, Pennsylvania, Cornell, Princeton, Harvard, Yale, and Stanford. We chose to go down there for a week, and we get to pick a class of our own choice to study for a week.
Okay, so let's hear a little bit from Deshaun. So Deshaun, if you'll introduce yourself and your family as well.
Hi, I'm Deshaun Wafer, and this is my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother here with me. And we had a meeting. I'm sorry, I did forget the guy. His name is Mr. Jackson. I'm sorry, okay. And he discussed we're going to take a class at Brown University for 1 week, and we're going to take Introduction into Sports Medicine for that 1 week. And he discussed that we had to make a list of problems here at Harper Woods School. And we're going to, after we come back from the week, we're going to come back and try to bring a program to the school to help solve some of these problems at the school. We can have together.
Okay. So you're going to be taking the same class?
Yes.
Was that a requirement, or was that something you decided to do?
We decided ourselves.
Okay. Very, very nice. So while you're there, will you be staying in a hotel, or where will you be staying?
I think we will be staying on campus.
And so my guess would be that you'll get IDs, you'll have a food plan, if you will, so it'll be an authentic college experience, residing in the dormitories, going down for the, for the breakfast, for the lunch, for the dinner. I'm sure there'll be some social activities and things in the evening. LT, it looked like you wanted to add something else. Okay. Are you sure, man? Don't be shy. And I would tell you, I'm very impressed that you have a sense of, not only Brown, but also the other Ivy League schools. That's the history of college-level education in our nation. Those are some of the first colleges and universities to be founded. Those are not only nationally renowned universities, but internationally renowned. I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be some students from other parts of the world participating in this program as well. That's excellent. And Principal Collier, I'd like to compliment you and your team, whether it's your administrative colleagues, your counseling staff, your teaching staff. I'm not sure exactly who all has been involved with this, but our kids are more than capable of exceeding in the most rigorous and the most exclusive opportunities. And I think we've got a great example of that in LT and Deshaun. Take full advantage of that opportunity. Represent yourself well, represent us well, because see, you're opening doors.
and we want to send some others behind you then to have similar opportunities. So please think of yourself as trailblazers and understand, seek leadership opportunities, send those strong messages, and next year, let's send not 2 kids, but let's send 4, and let's keep Harper Woods on the move. That's absolutely excellent, guys. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Just quickly, Ms. Collier, are we doing katydids as a fundraiser? I know we had talked about that.
So we have the Yankee Candle sale that we are starting. Ms. Weigel is going to start to disseminate the email, because you can order them as well as we have packets up front. And then we have almond and crunch candy bars in my office that we are going to send home to families, because we want to stick to our healthy food initiative here on campus. Yes.
So if our students are selling candy bars and Yankee candles, they should buy them and to support these 2 boys' trip to Brown.
Correct. And we also did free dress last Friday, and so that money has been deposited into the account. Once we solidify the week that they are going, which we will do by Friday, we will begin to purchase their airfare. And then families only have to be responsible for their necessities, their clothes, toiletries, and such. So it would be a fully funded.
What a great opportunity.
Great opportunity.
Thank you so much. Good for you boys.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
And one more thing is, when I was reading this, I noticed the very impressive GPAs that these 2 gentlemen have. Because I know they didn't mention their GPAs, but I think LT has a 4.034 GPA. And Deshaun has a 4.1395, so that's even above.
Nice job, guys.
And I think both of you are involved in extracurricular activities outside of just naturally, I guess, studying, right? I believe, Deshaun, you're in band? LT, you participate in basketball? Baseball? Do you have baseball practice this evening? Okay. Anyone else? Any board members have questions?
Yes,
Comments?
I have a question. What class do you plan on studying once you go for that week at Brown University?
Introduction into sports medicine.
And both of you? Oh, same thing. Thank you.
I'm curious, do either of you have parents who went to college, or are you the first ones that are looking at this? First ones?
First one.
Both of you? Yes.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Well, that's tremendous for both of you. And you both made a very good appearance here.
Very good. Anyone else on the board? Thank you, gentlemen. We are on to item 9.0, which is public participation regarding action items. Anyone from the public wish to stand up? For 3 minutes? No one? Item 10.0, 10.1, sorry, which is our summer nutrition program. Hold on, I need a page here. 58. The recommended motion reads that the Board of Education approves the operation of the Michigan Department of Education summer nutrition programs, breakfast and lunch at the Harper Woods Secondary Campus. Do I have a motion? Support? Support. Thank you. Mr. Biederhoff, can you sum up?
Yes, just briefly, Madam President. This recommendation is asking for the board's approval for the 4th summer operate part of our summer nutrition program, under which students of the Harper Woods community would be offered both a free breakfast and a free lunch. And so part of what we do is we schedule this nutrition, this food service, to align with our summer programs. And so, it's convenient for families. Kids can come on in as they come for programs, get a bite to eat for breakfast, participate in the morning, get a bite to eat for lunch, and then if they so choose, extend their day into the afternoon as well. So we believe it to be good for kids. We also believe it to be good for staff. It does provide some consistency and employment opportunities for some members of our food service program. And then finally, I think that Mr. Dennis would report that this program is slightly better than cost neutral, which means that we pay the bills and have a little bit of extra money available to update our equipment in food service and to provide some funds for our general programming. So it's worked well in the previous 3 years, and so we seek your approval to offer this support in this health and nutrition program in Harperwood Schools again this summer.
Thank you, Mr. Biederwolf. Any further discussion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion regarding the summer nutrition program passes 7-0. Item 10.2 is our security staffing contract. The recommended motion reads that the Board of Education approves the Securitas contract to provide security staffing and services to the Harperwood School District. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Support. Thank you. Mr. Biederwolf?
So you've heard multiple members of our administrative team speak to the positive impact that this ongoing implementation is already having across our schools. The board certainly understands that you informally authorized the administration to move forward with bringing this resource to the campuses at Beacon, at Tyrone, and at the secondary campus as well. And so, it is exciting and encouraging to hear, our administrators speaking positively of the professionalism and so forth. As the board knows, this is an investment. And certainly having security staffing as part of a school environment is something that's very common across our nation, across our state, and certainly here in the metro area as well. So there's nothing unusual about it. One of the things that I want to highlight is that we're not knee-jerk reacting, if you will, to any crisis or any specific concerns. This is something that the Board of Education has talked about over a period of several weeks, and under your leadership and partnership with our building-based principals, and under your direction, we are moving forward to bring this resource and to make this investment in the security and the safety of all, as is fairly common, again, in many schools and many districts. It's just kind of sort of a sign of the times, if you will, that it's a good thing to have in place for the safety and security of all. So in closing, I just want to again emphasize this is nothing other than an investment, doing the right thing, and just being progressive in terms of what it is that we do to make sure that our campuses are positive and safe places to be at all times. So we seek your formal authorization of what already seems to be off to a good start.
Absolutely. And I would like to correct you, Mr. Biederwolf, we've been talking about this for a few years.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is there any further discussion from the board? Hearing none. All those in favor of the proposal to hire Securitas to provide services to Harperwood School District, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion passes 6-1. Item 10.3, the first reading of bylaws and policies. The recommended motion is that the Board of Education approves the first reading and adoption of policies and bylaws 1420, 2370.01, 3220, 5830, 7540.02, 7540.03, 7540.04, 8325, 8330, 8500, 8510, 8540, 9211, and 9800. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Support. Thank you. Mr. Biederwolf, briefly.
Yes, so these policy recommendations would have been developed in consultation with a contracted vendor that provides consultation to the district in regards to making sure that our policies are current, aligned with the law, and in the district's best interest. And so, under the leadership of Vice President Williams and her fellow members of the Policy Committee met, I believe it was in early December. It then takes a while to kind of bring these things up to date. And as Ms. Williams will recall, often you see these recommendations kind of reappearing in triplicate. Once for our professional staff, once for our non-certified staff, and once for our students. And so there are several technology usage policies that would be reflective of that, kind of appearing 3 times, as there are some wellness programs tied to the National School Lunch Program and some of the limitations in terms of the caloric content, the serving sizes, and different kinds of things of that type are also embedded in these updates.
And anybody from the community will be able to view those updates on our website at what time?
So your board policies require that the policies be approved first on a first reading. That's what will occur tonight. A second reading then in April. And once the board formally approves them in April, then they become official policies, the law of the land, if you will, and they'll be available in the public domain towards the end of May, perhaps not until mid-June.
Thank you, Mr. Beadle. Any further discussion?
All of the crossed out or the redacted things from the original policies?
Yes.
So if an entire policy is crossed out, that means that the entire policy is redacted?
Correct. And in most instances then, that then is replaced, a replacement policy is then oftentimes embedded and being adopted. And so again, when the committee meets, they see all of those things in greater detail. As a first reading, you'll see the redacted version so the board can understand the changes. And when you get it on the second reading, it'll just be the formal language that will become then the new policy so you can see it in that more streamlined form.
Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor of the motion to adopt the new policies and bylaws, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion passes 7-0. On to item 10.4, which is a recommended resolution, which would be my first one, so I'm hoping this goes well. The resolution reads that the Board of Education approves the adoption of a combined 105 and 105C Schools of Choice program for the first semester of the 2015-16 school year, authorizing the limited enrollment of up to 116 students in the Harper Woods School District. The Board of Education approves the adoption of Section 105 and 105C School of Choice program and will offer limited seats of enrollment as follows. Kindergarten, 20 seats. First grade, 11. Second grade, 2 seats. Third grade, 4. Fourth grade, 12 seats. Fifth grade, 4 seats. Sixth grade, 5. Seventh grade, 22 seats. Eighth grade, 4 seats. Ninth grade, 20 seats. 10th grade would be 10 seats, and 11th and 12th grade, we are each offering 1 seat each. All those in favor? I'm sorry. It's a resolution. Mr. Peterwolf, did you want to discuss this?
Motion first, Jill.
Motion first.
Motion to, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Support.
Support.
Did you want to talk about this briefly?
Yes, Madam President, I appreciate that. So, as the board will recall, extensive conversation at the March workshop tied to this agenda item. The 105 and the 105C Schools of Choice is a limited school of choice program. And so that means that you, as the Board of Education, via the authority that you hold, are defining for the administration the number of students who are not residents of the district that can be admitted, and that number is capped and limited at 116 students, which is almost to the student the same number as the previous Board of Education approved this time last year. And so we think that that's a good indication that it kind of represents stability, if you will. And so, as the board discussed at that workshop, We have only a certain number of seats at each grade level. The board sought information in terms of, okay, well, how many students will that result in per class or per section and things of that type. I thought it was a very in-depth conversation, if you will, as our Board of Education, considered this matter fully. I think it's also important to remember that with students comes revenue. And what it is that the board has historically done is they have said, okay, so the district will benefit from the revenue. How is it, though, that specifically our resident students will benefit? And so we reviewed things like class sizes. We reviewed things like, what some of the revenue has been expended on in the past, like our one-to-one technology. And it's this type of a progressive approach in terms of maximizing revenue while simultaneously managing and defining class sizes that we think has positioned us to be both financially stable and to be innovative in terms of the educational programming and experiences that we're offering our kids. And so, the board saw tonight several examples of technology that takes investment, and really that's kind of the business plan that we've been operating under. Yes, we get enhanced revenue from school of choice, and what is it that we do? We invest that in our schools, we invest it in our classrooms, and as a result of that, our resident students then benefit and get a higher quality educational experience. And we hope that as a board you agree that it's a business plan that is having a positive experiential and academic impact for our kids, and so we seek your support of this resolution.
Any further discussion regarding the resolution? Ms. Mahone, I believe we need a roll call vote.
Ms. Fenderson?
I support it.
Ms. Menino?
Support.
Ms. Williams?
Support.
Ms. Morrison?
Support.
Ms. Kennedy?
Support.
Ms. Mahone? And Ms. Quaker?
I vote yes. Resolution passes 7-0. Item number 10.5, which is the superintendent evaluation. The recommended motion reads that the Board of Education approves the evaluation of the superintendent, Todd Biederwolf, as effective for the 2014 calendar year and directs that an original of the document be placed in his personnel file. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have support?
Support.
Well, Mr. Biederwolf, I don't expect you to speak of this about yourself.
I would prefer not.
So briefly, what I will say, and anybody else can feel free, is we believe Mr. Biederwolf is an asset to Harperwood School District. He started here 5 or 6 years ago. We were in dire straits. We had to make tough decisions and implement change, which is not always easy. We appreciate that, and in your leadership role and in conjunction with the board, you have brought us to today, which we believe we are standing on firm ground. You work to be part of the community, attending activities, interacting with students, parents, community members. And over the next year, you will work with your administrative team to raise our test scores even more. The board looks forward to continuing to work with you, Mr. Biederwolf. Any further discussion regarding Mr. Biederwolf's
Just to note
evaluation?
that the overall rating of the evaluation was effective.
Yes. Any further? All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0. And then item 10.6 is the superintendent contract extension approval, and that is the recommended motion reads that the Board of Education approves the extension of the superintendent's contract through June 30th, 2017, and the terms and the compensation for this period of time. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Support.
Mr. Biederwolf, I will, we have extended Mr. Biederwolf's contract into the 16-17 school year, offered a slight raise of, compensating maybe 1%.
Slightly less than 1%.
Slightly less than 1%. He's dedicated to the district, and we are absolutely thrilled to have him agree to be here for that extended time. Any further discussion regarding his extended contract? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes 7-0.
If I may?
Absolutely.
I would just like to thank the board for what I consider to be a vote of confidence. We do believe here in Harper Woods Schools that we are on the move. We know that our financial footing is exceedingly stable compared to other districts across the state. We know that our technology and the investments that have resulted as a result of that are second to none. We know that our student achievement is trending in the right direction, but certainly I and my administrative team also understand that the board wants to see more than progress. They want to see significant growth. And we understand and we accept that challenge. And I really do think that this is a great place to work. I do believe that we're on the move. And kind of to symbolize that, if you will, I'm in, and it's a pleasure to be a part of this leadership team, and I really do believe the best is yet to come. So thank you again for this vote of confidence. We have work to do, and we will be on the move and committed to moving that work forward.
Thank you, Mr. Biederwolf. Item 11.0, our subcommittee reports. Any committees have anything to report outside of we've completed the superintendent evaluation, which is not easy. On to item 12.0, which is the report of the superintendent.
I'm going to keep my remarks brief this evening, but one of the things that I'm really excited about is educational research tells us the importance of parental involvement. And we've just seen some great examples of that recently. I got a chance to go over to Tyrone last week and participate in Science Night and see our students and see our families. So many families at our district-wide tech open house this last Friday. How exciting to hear that we're ahead of last year's pace in terms of our kindergarten roundup and the number of parents who are saying Harper Woods Schools is the right place for me to start my child, and how great to hear about those third grade parents transitioning over to Tyrone and realizing not only is it a great place for your child to start, but it's a great place for your child to move their education forward. And so I just think it's exciting to see so many of our families learning together, and as they learn together, being reminded that learning is fun. And so we all need to be lifelong learners, and it really is. It's encouraging to see more parents getting involved with their children, supporting them, accolading them, and participating on what it is that they're doing. Our parent community is also on the move and walking stride by stride with their children, and that's great to see. And then my final comments tonight are, let's make sure that we're paying attention to things that are going on in Lansing. It's anticipated that the State Board of Education in the coming weeks will be appointing a new state superintendent of public instruction. It's a very critical role in terms of policy and leadership of schools across our state. If you haven't heard as well, Governor Snyder has recently enacted an executive order that removes a certain component, the Office of School Reform, out from underneath the auspices of the state superintendent and the Michigan Department of Education, and puts it under the auspices of more of a governmental branch, if you will, of the executive and legislative structures within our state. As an educational professional, I have some concern about that decision, and so I would ask our Harper Woods community to continue to monitor that issue and to weigh in with Governor Snyder's office and with other elected officials. And then finally, you're reminded that on May 1st, I think it's May 1st, there is the Proposal 1, commonly called the Safe Roads Yes campaign. There are components in there, that would be intended to identify funds to fix our roads, bring some additional funding to schools, and bring some additional funding potentially to municipalities as well. So as I always do, I simply encourage the Harper Woods community to be well-informed voters, to seek to understand what it is that is embedded in Proposal 1, and then to cast a yay or a nay vote, both based upon what it is that you believe to be in the state's best interest, the community's best interest, and your family's best interest. A lot of important things going on in Lansing, so please pay attention not only to what's going on here in Harper Woods, but what it is that's going on at the state level as well.
Thank you, Mr. Biederwolf. Item 14.0 is matter of, 13.0, public participation. Gracie, did you have anything to say? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. She does have something to say, actually. Item 14.0 is matters of interest to board members. Anybody on the board?
I've got a couple things from the library. One is Keith Gamble's Art House Gathering. He's a jazz musician and a teacher, and he's going to be on the tenor sax, and also a performance by a young pianist. I do not know her age, but LaKyra Flowers. So it sounds like it's going to be a really neat thing, and it's on Monday, March 23rd at 6 o'clock. They say to call the library to reserve a seat, but I'll tell you, they're always more than welcoming if you just show up at the last minute. The other big thing at the library is the book sale that's going to be Friday and Saturday, April 17th and 18th. There's a children's book swap on Saturday from 1 to 4. And there's craft kits from Arts and Scraps that you can either make at the library or take them home with your child and help your child do them at home. And Arts and Scraps come up with some really neat ideas. So I've got flyers for the schools, and I'll pass those out to you.
Thank you, Joni. Anyone else?
Yes, I have two things. One about the security. This time, I walked into this building and I noticed there really was not a lot of students at the door. And the security guard did ask me, where I was going, which was good because, I appreciate that because we really did need security. We really did. Okay, and we really did need a lot of the students that just hang around the school really late at night to disperse. So, I think that will make a very big difference. And the other concern I had, and I hate to bring it up again, is that M-STEP test. As a classroom teacher, I had an opportunity to look at the test because it's online and they give you a practice test to go through. Because they have two components to it, it's completely different from any other test that students have taken. Because there's that classroom part, which is completely different, and that preps the students for the test, and then they take the computerized test. And so I hope that our students will get a chance to practice that test online, before the last minute, because it's in April, and this is March, so it's not very much time left. Okay.
I didn't say, but Carolyn is also, we have been we're actually working our way up to our current grade level. We started with, we had the luxurious thing when we started with grade level.
Yeah.
It definitely
It's different.
Different, but the kids are getting it.
Well, and not only that, just to piggyback, Regina, but if our administrators are still getting rules day by day.
I know.
It's...
Some of it's administration on this, how you get your ticket, they're still rolling out a lot of that.
Right.
So hurry up and be ready.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's a supported
Just trying to figure all
test.
that out. But the work that they've released for students and staff to look at and compare, it's been helpful.
Anyone else from the board? Nothing? Okay, I'm going to call a brief recess. We're going to take about a 10-minute recess. When we return, the board will go into closed session to discuss contract and personnel issues. recess.
You do a motion to go into closed session, then you'll be done with it.
Just do a motion
Yeah,
now.
please.
Do I have a motion to support going into closed session to discuss contracts?
Motion.
Support. We need an individual vote. Tabitha?
Yes.
You have to do a roll call for us to go into closed session.
Okay.
Choice in one
Monito.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Fenderson.
Yes.
Ms. Quaker.
Yes.
Ms. Morrison.
Yes.
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. Kivany.
Yes.
Ms. Mahone, yes.
There we go.
Thank you. Motion passes 7-0.